Okay, there we go.
Got it. Well, you can show off your blanket later, Linda. That's getting really big. Show off those dip stitches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go.
Got it.
And we are live. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, greetings.
Hi.
Are we in 4 different countries?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We are
Bringing the
in
world
Portugal.
together. That's
we're pretty
amazing.
much covering, a lot of places in the world.
Yes.
Well,
Exactly that. And folks are commenting on this saying hello so they can hear us. So we're
Okay.
good to go.
Keep commenting throughout and let us know where you're watching from, any questions, and tell us what clue you're on. We're going to talk all about the mystery shawl this evening and have a good time getting inspired.
Exactly.
thank you so much for joining us. Stephen, I want to start with the tough question, and then we're going to go into the fun of the MCAL. So,
Yeah, let's dive into all things geogradient, and there's a lot of fun things to talk about and important things as well.
right. So the beginning was a little tremulous. The first clue came out, and there were people who saw the hate symbol in the first clue. You pivoted within, I feel like seconds. Like, honestly, it felt like it was immediate response. You came up with the alternative clue and you asked everybody to pivot and restart that MCAL. But when we posted the Human Southwest Needs episode, there were a lot of comments saying you were bullied into that. You were pressed into making that decision by like a couple people who saw something that nobody else seen. What was your response to that?
Yeah, first of all, it was just a crazy knit along year this year, and it's always the biggest event I do, and I'm so excited to host it every year. And this year, out of any year that has happened before, I was so prepared, and my like emotions going into it were like, I'm so ready. I finished all the videos, and I was just telling everybody in our office and at Stephen and Penelope and all my friends that I just love the design, and I can't wait to just relax and let it flow and just enjoy all the work I did and just let it be an easy, smooth knit along. And it was anything but that. It was like the most stressful thing I've ever had to encounter in knitting, but it was like really important things. But what it like all boiled down to, we all shifted and did a new Clue One variation. And what it came down to is I don't regret like anything of the changes and how I responded to things. If anything, it was yeah, there was like a lot of opinions and it brought up a lot of
Yeah.
emotions and a lot of commentary and just yeah, a lot of support but also a lot of like negativity. And yeah, just responding to your question about why I did change it. If anything, I felt like a big pressure from our email inbox. You wouldn't believe it was like hundreds if not thousands throughout the month of messages of just all types of sorts and opinions, positive, negative, this and that. So you can't make everyone, you can't do what everyone's asking. But if anything, I felt the most pressure, the most percentage of emails and things I was getting were a lot of people just saying that they, yeah, didn't see that. There was no need to change it, that their intentions were good. They want to support and, show love and, be helpful and but they may not have seen the symbolic reference in that first clue. So like the most pressure I felt in the beginning was to keep all the things as they were and kind of say, or to like just welcome everything. Like if you want to do it, you can. If you don't, you can't. Or if you don't have to. So what I felt the most pressure was to, yeah, keep it as it was. And because I've never had to like retract a pattern before. And it didn't come from one or two people like as a pressure of that. If anything, it came from myself and wanting to not just stand up for one person that was hurt, but for dozens or hundreds, or you don't know the amount of people that saw offense in it, because I think those were the types of people that would have been scared to
Yeah.
say something or to comment in the forums, because so many people would have kind of, yeah, maybe unintentionally, but kind of dismissed those opinions or yeah, not acknowledged them. So it didn't really come down to that. It came down to what I believed and what I wanted to do with it. And yeah, I don't want anybody saying like a few people ruined the MCAL experience for anyone. If anyone has those opinions, you can say that I ruined it for you, but I don't think so. I thought it just blossomed into such a supportive and like creative out of any MCAL year before. It like just ignited so many ideas. And I really felt that this year, out of any of the previous years, was like all of us together designing what the shawl is and what it meant and what it looked like. And that was like really interesting because I like
Yeah.
write all the instructions and I give you exactly what to do. So if you want to do exactly what I do, everything is there for you. But I was so amazed like how adventurous and how far people went with making their own variations. And it just like took on a whole life of its own. And I thought that was like the overwhelming feeling of this year's knit along was that feeling of embracing the unknown, becoming your own designer, supporting others with your ideas and supporting others on how to do that. A lot of people were asking, oh, how did you do that section or that stitch? And people were really like writing their own patterns. And I love the supportive nature that it evolved into.
And I love that
so
element.
much, so much so that you crocheted your first clue also. Like
I know. Yeah, the first ones I saw, I credited in the Ravelry forums, a couple of the first granny squares I saw, and one of them is one of my test knitters, Knit Frog Repeat. She always makes the most beautiful like crochet masterpieces with knitting, and so I learned to crochet this year. And the first video I put of my granny square, I was like so excited. I made a little video of like crocheting, and I was doing it wrong. I was doing too many chains between the squares, but that was just really reassuring and exciting for me to be like, there's always something new to learn. And yeah, just that's the whole spirit of the MCAL is embracing the unknown, learning something new. And yeah, normally when I participate in the MCAL, I just share it and host the event. And I already have knitted 2 or 3 of them. But this year I was knitting along with everybody. And I felt like I was joining in on the party as well, getting inspired by you all.
And that's what I've loved about the community element, the way that almost I think people understood, or the majority of people understood why we needed to pivot. We were there to support you. We all did it. But actually the way the community stood up to help each other out, because I think we talked to you last year about you love the way that that people customize their shawls, like, oh, a bit of mohair there, or I didn't really like that bit, so I did that. People do that naturally on your shawls, but this year was the year, as you said, people almost became their own designers.
Yeah, it usually happens at the end
that.
of the clues where people customize more in the 3rd and 4th clue. But at the very beginning, like people got so creative with that very first section, and that just carried on through all the others. And people just kept adding their own colors and just stretching the colors beyond what was recommended, but really getting creative and doing some kind of some mind-blowing variations. Even one where I saw one knitter just finished hers, it was all gradients of yellows, but I think there were like 5 or 6 yellow shades, but it looked like there wasn't much contrast in it. It was just all about the texture. And so I always love when you see those unique interpretations. It just lets your mind wander and go, oh, knitting can be anything. I don't have to follow the pattern exactly as written. I can do what I feel and knit something that makes me happy and that inspires me.
Yeah, I love Pink Queen because I did the triangles.
Oh, fun.
I couldn't get my head around it. Like, what am I going to do? What will I do the square? How will I customize? And then I saw that and I was like, I need to do that, especially in those colors. I think it just works.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I love the staggered stripe effect.
Absolutely.
Well, one of the questions I asked Linda during the Human Southwest Knits was, because we pivoted on the first clue, how much extra work did that mean for you and the team? Like, tell us a little bit. Like,
just a little bit what it's like. It's always busy. It's always crazy and busy. There's always lots of emails and support and making sure we always get emails of where's my clue. So we're always like responding and making sure people get the material they need. But this year, the busiest, I didn't get much sleep that first week. It was really crazy. But it's a lot more. I just re-edited all the videos and rewrote the pattern. And when everything happened, my team was off for the weekend. So maybe next year, I'll either maybe launch it on an earlier day or have someone from my team help work on the weekend, because it was like
no holidays.
Yeah, it was just me for those first 2 days. So I was literally like just re-editing videos, rewriting the PDF, doing the graphics all over, moderating the group took a lot of energy and time. But it's all worth it. Like, my most important thing was just wanted to get the word out there, make things really clear. I didn't want people to be confused or have weeks and weeks of it not being clear what they were doing with the knit along. So it was kind of like in 3 days, I had to kind of redo what took me about 3 months to prepare. Because I'm really slow with my process with the mystery design, like making sure it's all right and the videos are clear and all of that. So it's like, okay, what I did in 3 months, I have to kind of shake, redo in 3 days.
And of course, in this design, it's
did it.
smack in the center. So it was there, you know, you had to pivot around it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just really thankful, like just looking at my past self for just the general shape that it was a square, because that was easy to reimagine. If it was like some short row intarsia lace, like blobby, the first version of the design, I was playing with all these like blobby, groovy 70s short row stack stitches waves, but it was getting really complex. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to keep things simple for the new knitters for Clue 1. So I'm glad it was a square. I can't imagine having to redesign or reinterpret the shawl if the beginning was really abstractly shaped.
You touched on the retro. Where did that kind of wallpaper retro idea? Is that something that you've been mulling over for other designs, or did it just come to you for the MCAL?
Yeah,
I've loved seeing the images and the wallpaper.
Yeah, I was looking at a lot of that kind of vintage wallpaper vibe for some other designs as well, but it really suits the gradient. That was what inspired this knit along. Was I knew I wanted it to be a gradient from light to dark, because it's a really easy color story to make from your stash or to imagine when you're picking out a kit or something. And that gradient, it always reminds me of those just classic 70s, those like Pantone waves. So that was like a big initial inspiration. I originally wanted it to be like really wavy, but then I went with a more angular approach. So I combined that kind of groovy 70s initial inspiration with the geometric striking architecture, which kind of blended the geometric and the gradient together for Geogradient.
Well, a lot of people were asking that, like lately, you've been using the same kind of motif in different designs. So you would like the painted bricks, like it was a shawl and then it turned into a sweater. And a lot of people loved the third clue, like the texture of the third clue. Are you thinking of making it into other patterns?
Yeah, possibly. I think I'd love to see it in some socks, would be really fun. I don't think I'll do it in as many things like the Dustland series or the painting bricks, but I want to put it in at least a couple others. And then I love finding a new technique like that where the floats are on top. And I don't like doing it just once, because I feel like the more you play with like theme and variation, the further you can stretch an idea. And it takes a while for it to settle in and stretch and become something else. So I want to play more with those floats, but maybe in different patterns or with different lengths. So, because we have a little chevron going that looks like a little woven texture, but like how many can you slip? That's always how my brain works with design, is like, what if? How far can I push it? Or how can I make it simpler? How can I layer it with other textures? So I want to keep developing that floating technique some more. So you'll see it, I'm sure, in some other designs next year.
Because like this would be an amazing jumper, but can you imagine how long it would take?
Yeah, I don't know if
a jumper with that motif.
Yeah, maybe like part of it. I think that could be really cool in a section, a strip, and then with some other simple textures, or maybe like a modular piece where that's one modular shape, and then there's other textures for the other. Oh, you're getting my head spinning.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks.
You mentioned somewhere the stitch dictionary, that you said the stitch dictionary for some of the stitches. Is there like a specific one you like? Somebody was asking, like, can you tip us on your favorite stitch dictionary?
Yeah, the ones I look at the most there's a whole series of Japanese stitch dictionaries, and it's just full of photos and charts. So that's really visually heavy. And a lot of them have like 200 or 300 different stitch patterns based on lace or cables or both. So those are the ones I reference the most and get ideas and then play with modifying those stitches. I forget the names of them, but yeah, they're Japanese stitch dictionaries.
Okay.
Those are my favorite ones because they're just so photo heavy and really intricate.
And which one came first for this year then? The slip stitch for Clue 3 or the drop stitch for Clue 4?
I think when I was first swatching, I think the dip stitch came first. And I was thinking of doing the dip stitch in the first section, and I wish I did. Because that would have been so cool and no problems would have happened. But I wanted to save it for the end because it was my favorite part of the shawl. I love that elongated dip stitch and how it kind of looks like entrelac, kind of like crochet, kind of like stranded knitting, but it's just that one color at a time effect. So I think that came first. And then I decided to save it for the end, which I wish I didn't, but
We've got controversy in our house now because I'm doing two. I'm still only on one, right? Because I was going to be ahead of plan. I was going to start the second one in the first week. Then we pivoted, and I've now been behind because of life and work. So I'm not on mine yet. I'm still doing Mark's, but he doesn't like the tassels.
Oh yeah.
Mark is not having tassels on his, but I love the tassels. And
Let's do a bigger border instead of the tassels.
Yeah, and I'm trying to work out how I put extra tassels on mine. I'm thinking like in the crochet bit, I can put like extra fluffy. Yeah. And I'm going all tassy. He's like, no. So you've got completely two opposing camps in our house at the minute.
Yeah, some have already finished. It's only been a week since that last clue came out. So I've seen some beautiful finished versions already, but there's still going to be a lot coming. And I think we're still going to see some really epic creative borders where people like, I saw one already where they did a chevron from one of my other shawls. Yeah. And I can't wait to see what other finishing
yesterday there was like two borders that people were showing on the Human Southwest Knits. One was from your previous shawl with the large holes. Sita Lagros did that, so she added an extra border. And then another lady, Mandy from Australia, she added the Shetland lace border to hers. So
that's so cool.
I'm sure you're gonna see very interesting combinations there.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Well, somebody asked if you use mood boards, like how does your design start? Do you have a mood board? And if you do, is that something you ever gonna share with us?
Yeah, I kind of shared a bit of the like 70s wallpaper things. Those were in my mood board. And that was like one element of the mood board. And then I had some other stitch ideas and color ideas along with that. So I usually use Pinterest as I make little mood boards of stitches and colors and shapes. That just collect to make a little world of a design idea. And then I don't use everything from the mood board, but it gets the juices flowing. And then it gives me a kind of a frame to work within. So I start with Pinterest a lot. And I love Pinterest because you click on one thing and then it recommends 100 other things. And you're like, you get into this vortex of recommendations. And then one design idea starts to flow into some other things. So I love that natural flow of using that as a mood board.
And before you know it, 2 hours has passed.
I know.
You're like, where has my time gone?
Well, and another question that was asked, do you have a color that you don't like?
Not anymore. I used to, but it changes so much because it's not about color for me on its own. It's about how it interacts with others. So even like, and then when I say I don't like a color, I end up using it a lot. So I used to say I don't like to knit with brown a lot, but now I've been using a lot of brown. Like there's
and look what you're wearing.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there's nothing I don't like. I think maybe the color I use the least is red because it's such a powerful, strong color. But then you'll see me do like 20 red things next year now. Red is so strong, but Linda's shawl, you did like all shades of red with that punk rock unicorn, and it was so juicy. I collected some DK weight colors of those shades that you use, Linda. So I'm going to copycat your palette and do some other project with those colors.
God. I can't wait.
It was so dramatic.
Yeah.
And you're working on, I want Linda to show off a little sneak peek because we were talking about dip stitches, and you have a lot of dip stitches.
Hang on, it's a monster.
Yeah. So this is one little example of taking that dip stitch idea, and you're going to see this next year. We're doing a big blanket with it.
Wow.
And it's in DK, so it's a thicker stitch to begin with, and in DK it's really plump and makes a really beautiful sculptural effect.
Very juicy.
Are you planning to do sock knit along and the hyper knit along again this year?
Yeah, definitely. We're already gonna plan. We're planning already we already planned. It's gonna happen. The hybrid knit along in about 2 weeks. You're gonna hear all about it, and it's a really beautiful shawl. And I think it's gonna be more relaxing. If anyone thought the mystery was stressful to keep up with the weeks and all the changes happening, the hybrid knit along is the wind down knit along of the year, where it's lots of simple stitches and relaxing colors.
That was my favorite design.
The hybrid knit along shawl.
You mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, last year's hybrid knit along, we did this Aurora cabin with these slip stitches. And I think that's one of my top 5 favorite shawls I've done of all time. So it was really hard to follow that up. But this year it's different, but it has a really, really beautiful effect. It's one of those kind of sampler shawls where there's so many fun things to try, lots of stitches to play with.
Can you two pick a favorite MCAL? I guess the most recent one is probably a recent favorite, but do you have one from the archive that you could both choose?
For me, it's Marled Magic.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we met, and yeah, I think that's my favorite one.
I'd love to do another Marled mystery in the future.
You have to do it here, though.
Yeah,
you have to come here and do it with me.
Definitely. Because that was so many colors. That one really stretched people's imaginations, just like this year, how people were modifying so much. Marled Magic was like you had to have 20 or 30 colors. So it was not so limited to 3 colors, and this is where you put them. It's like, here's a section, play with it, do it with 2 colors or do it with 20 colors. So that was really special. My favorite, I think, they're all different favorites for different reasons. I think my favorite just overall shawl and design is Slipstravaganza for the like look of it.
I love it. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I just love how big, and it's really like big chunky motifs. But this year is definitely a favorite of mine for the process and what it taught me and what I learned about myself. And I think it was just a more meaningful knit along this year for me and for a lot of people. And I'll always like remember that. Yeah. Learning lesson and support and everything that I've learned this year. So this is like nothing else is ever going to be like this. So that's always going to be wouldn't want to go through it again, but I'm glad I went through it. It was a big learning lesson, and it's just another stepping stone to get to the next techniques and the next knit-alongs and variations. I'm sure I would have made a completely different shawl next year had we not had the whole pivot and change in this year's knit along. So I'm already starting to think differently about how I want to approach next year's design and what I want the process and approach for it to be. I always want each year to have a different flavor.
Yeah.
Some are more technical, some are more relaxing. I wanted this year's to be more relaxing, actually, because the sections are like simple and they're like clear, just one idea, stitch pattern for each section. Yeah. So that was my intention for this year of it's going to be the calmer, some techniques, but easygoing, not as crazy as last year's twists and turns. And then it became not that.
Fiona in the comments has just asked, where did the astronaut idea come from?
Oh, that was my friend Malia's, my business partner and friend Malia. She came up with the graphic design idea for that. But it was really funny. We think on the same wavelength because like there was no space theme or talk at all. But she just said to me like, oh, I'm working on a graphic idea. It's going to be kind of playful and funky and fun. And I think you're going to like it. But I'll show you when I have an example for you. And my first thing I said to her in like 5 seconds, I was like, are you going to put like a astronaut helmet on me and we'll do like an outer space, like mystery blast off into space? And there was no talk of anything space themed before that, but we were just like on the same wavelength. And she's like, why did you guess that? I could have guessed anything. I could have been like, are you going to put me in a bus and it's going to be adventure time? Or are you going to surround me with cats? I'm like, yeah, I just guessed that she would put me in that astronaut helmet. I don't know why. But yeah, it was just a fun little space theme to get people into that otherworldly experience of what the MCAL is all about. It's not a normal shawl. It's always
Talking of pets, people were asking, how are the dogs?
They're amazing. I think they're snoozing or they're getting into some trouble in the living room. But they're eating. They're having snack attack. They're having their dinner time. So they're
quiet.
good.
That's all that matters.
They're ready. Yeah, they're ready for sweater weather. I'm gonna have to knit some new sweaters for them this fall because it's getting chilly here. So they're ready to put their brioche sweaters on.
And I don't know if we had an answer because we might have glossed over it. We got mystery sock along again next year was another question that we had from folks.
It's in the works. So some little sneak peeks of what's to come. Linda's working on a big blanket. We have a lot of fun designs happening next year. The hybrid knit along will be announced in a couple weeks, and the knitting for that starts in December. So if you're still working on your mystery shawls, we still got a good couple months, a month and a half at least, until the next knit along starts. And we're going to do another surprise sock along next summer. That was really fun for me to do the first one this year because it's such a small project compared to the shawl. Like people could finish much quicker, and it's a good travel project for summertime. So we're going to do that again next year.
I said to folks on my channel, because I was lucky enough to be able to test knit it, but we didn't know at the time when the test call came out that it was a mystery sock along. So it's like, yeah, I could do a sock. And then I got the pattern. It was like, oh, it's 2 socks. Oh, I can't do 2 socks in 3 weeks.
Okay.
but I still didn't know that it was the mystery. It was just a test knit that didn't have a photo with it. And I loved almost that element, because then when you released it, I was like, oh, I did the test.
Yeah,
I loved
it was
it.
so cool. Yeah, I
Even the
love the
test certificate
collage of
surprises.
stitches and that. And it just puts you in a different mindset. Linda got me into socks in the first place, and I have to thank her so much, because I don't know, I just wasted so many years of not knitting socks, but they're such small, fun forms to play with new colors and new stitches.
Yeah,
And
I knew you would love it.
yeah, and I'm traveling soon, and I used to always travel with a suitcase of like a big blanket project. My carry-on is usually just an entire blanket project or sweater, and now I have like a little portable sock project. It's much more easy to travel with.
Well, we just finished the last Humans of West Knit, and if you guys missed it, it's all uploaded on Fiber Chat's channel, so you can check it out. And I already miss it. Like, do you already miss the fact that the knit along is officially over?
Yeah, it's always like so much energy and such a build up to the beginning, and then it always flows and changes. It always quiets down in the middle, and then people get excited when they see the final design again. So I'm gonna miss mostly seeing like all the variations. I mean, people are still gonna knit their shawls, so I'll still be looking at the forums and all the groups, but I miss yeah, just that community coming together and all working on the same thing. It's just nice to be connected in that way. So I'm going to miss it a lot, but I'm also really glad that it's over.
You're ready for that vacation, right?
Yes, I haven't had a break in like 6 or 8 months. I've just been knitting and working nonstop. So I'm going to go see my family for the first time in like 4 years next week. And so I can't wait to see them and see my brother and my nieces. And my brother's a knitter too. So I'm going to bring him, I have a pile of yarn. I'm going to bring some bright West wool colors for my nieces so he can knit them some sweaters and hats.
But that sounds like an amazing gift.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And there are people in the comments, just to add again, that want more knitting crochet combos. Can you just like let that mull around for a while?
I'm gonna let it simmer. I don't want to lead on people too much. I'm not going to become a crochet designer, because I get obsessed with things. And if I start to get into crochet, I'm never going to give you any knitting patterns again. But I want to dabble in some mixing. I think it's such a beautiful way to mix different techniques. And when I did my little crochet center, I think it took me a third of the time to crochet it than it did to knit. It's so fast. I was like, I did it in like a long evening.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I'm like, what have I been missing out on? I think crocheters are onto something.
That's what I'm looking forward to. My second one, I'm going to do the crochet beginning. I'm going to finish the third for Mark, and then I'm going to start mine. So I'm going to do the crochet. I actually need a bit of a break now. I've only knit on this for a month, and I'm not a monogamous knitter. I like to have like 15, 16 things at the same time. So I like to alternate.
My style.
Yeah.
And you have your Geogradient behind you, Irina, right?
Yep, I just finished that. Like, really pleased with those colors.
It's so icy and fresh. I love it.
Yeah.
And I added a lot of sparkles, so there was like a lot of that kind of shiny thing. More sparkles. So when you look at it up close, it's even prettier.
Oh, fun.
That's amazing.
Linda, are you excited about the next year's MCAL?
I'm always excited about the next year's MCAL. I'm going to start, picking on Stephen in May, like, hey, what's going on?
Where is it?
Yeah, where is it?
I was really prepared this year. We were in advance. I usually start it at the early summer, and it was all finished, and videos were filmed a month before it even was announced, I think, this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
more, I think,
before it
like
started.
5 or 6 weeks before, everything was ready.
It was all like done and ready to go.
Yeah.
In previous MCAL years, sometimes I was editing and designing the shawl while people started, and I was finishing the end. So I've learned my lesson. I was too stressful. I don't like that time pressure. But next year, I'm like always collecting ideas. So if anytime we're doing photos of shawls, if any of you ever comment what you loved the most about the shawl or what you'd really love to see in a mystery shawl, I do check. I see what y'all are saying. Sometimes you want it more simple. Sometimes you want it more crazy. So it's going to be a different flavor next year. So I always like your opinions of what we should do.
We've had 2 years without brioche now. So, next year, the brioche speculation is going to be high.
That's what I'm feeling too. Because every year it's, if there's brioche, there's a non-brioche option, but there's been no brioche for like maybe 3 years. Well, Shawlography had it.
Yes.
But yeah, the last 2.
I think we're gonna email Brioche and Stitch and tell them to talk to Dad about bringing Brioche Stitch
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah,
them.
need to come back.
Well, thank you so very much for joining us today and sharing your thoughts. It's such a pleasure as always to see you guys. And I think this MCAL is gonna be unforgettable for all of us as well.
Yeah, it's the most meaningful one for me for sure. And I can't wait. I'm doing a couple little festivals next year. We're going to Spain for some festivals next year. So I can't wait to meet people in person and yeah, see all the creativity in person and have that community aspect again. And I just love so much that you all host all these video events and that you highlight all the creativity and all the work that people put into the shawl. People invest so much time and creating the colors and dyeing their own yarns and all the knitting they do. So I really appreciate you two highlighting that and making people feel special and part of something.
Thank you. It's the community bit for us that is what,
Yeah.
you know, it's chatting to other people. And I think one of the really lovely things about some of the humans is people saying that they knit on their own. They don't have any knitting friends. So being able to be part of a community and chat to people who knit, even if you're in a different country, that's the great side of social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brings people together.
Yeah, we're going to keep doing it. So we'll have some other little knit-alongs in the meantime, but next year we'll come together again and just continue that spirit. It's just all about learning, trying new things, always moving on to the next. And yeah, we never know. It's going to be another crazy one next year, but in a different way.
And Linda,
Amazing.
thank you so much for joining the Humans of West Knits, because a lot of people really appreciated your input and the fact that you spent that hour with us. It was really lovely.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
How long have you been working on that blanket for, Linda? Because you're quite a speedy knitter. Was that like a last week thing you started? A couple of weeks now.
No, it's like a month. Like I finished the mystery knit along and then I started working on this right away.
That's still good. That's still a lot of knitting in. You've made good progress.
Yeah. And I've made like socks and another mystery shawl and like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, Linda's always on to the next project.
Yep.
It's the best way.
We cannot wait for next year. And thank you for joining us today. Martin, thank you for organizing this.
No, I'm very grateful to you all being here. Thank you. It's so much fun. Stephen, enjoy your vacation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll see you all soon. Thanks for having me.
No, you're very welcome. Thanks very much, everybody.
Bye.
He's gone because he's going on vacation. Do we want another 5 minutes?
Yeah, let's do another 5 minutes.
Yay.
So, Martin, you want to share your progress because we haven't seen you in a while.
Work do not appreciate that I'm in the middle of a mystery knit along, right? And I've got Vlogtober and it's just been crazy. So I am making progress. I'm still on clue 3. Yes, I'm still on clue 3. I finished and I've started sewing in ends and everything. So I am making some progress. Yes. So I have finished the first wingtip, which in these colors from Undercover Otter, I just love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It looks so nice. And more importantly, Mark loves it, which this is his version. So that's the most important thing. So yeah, that I'm obsessed with, although it's very slow going.
How are you doing
have
this?
A problem counting to 4. I get to the end and I've got 3 stitches left. I'm like, no. Undo.
How are you doing with the loose ends? How do you?
I didn't weave in Stephen on these ones because I thought, because obviously some of them were slipping at the beginning of things, but all the others I've weaved in Stephen and I've mostly sewn them in. I don't trust it 100%. I feel like I finish it and then I just go up and down and then I snip them, rather than Stephen's a bit more gung-ho than I am. I think he in the videos, he's done the weave with Stephen, he just snips and I'm like, oh, I just want to do a couple of stitches, but it's a lot quicker.
I'm the same as you are. I always do the weaving Stephen and then I go back and like with a needle as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, I put a lot of work in my knits and I want them to stay.
We had a discussion yesterday during the Humans and some people were hiding them in the I cords. And
Mhm.
I did one side where
That's what I've done on this one.
Right. I was on one side, I was hiding them in I cords, and another side, I was hiding them on the back of the shawl. And somehow I don't know, like I'm not sold on that I cord hiding, because some of them, like the rogue ones, sticking their heads out after I blocked it. So I might need to go back and fix it a little bit.
Mhm.
I kind of went over the I chords, so it wasn't just straight down in a line. I kind of did try to loop it and then snip it. I don't mind the odd little end poking through. I'm okay with that. But yes, I'm making good progress for me. But I think, because I said earlier, I don't do well with one project, and I feel like this is why I can't count to 4, because I'm doing the same thing. So I am going to finish this side again. So I've still got all that to do. But once I've done that, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to start mine. I'm going to do the crochet square and then get the knitted bit going, just to have a little palette cleanser. So I reckon over the weekend I'll start it. And I've been saying in my Vlogtober videos, I've got a clear week, and then I end up going to the theatre on a random night, and then I've got a free weekend, and I end up going to London with some friends. Like, things have just happened, which has been super lovely, but not me literally sitting on the sofa going, I'm not moving till I finish my shawl.
I thought the second side of clue 3 went a lot quicker than the first one.
Oh, okay.
Well, that was my feeling, at least, but you know.
I hope that's the case for me then.
And the second deep stitch row was half the time of the first deep stitch row.
Yeah, the first one is tricky because you're like positioning it right and like making sure everything is correct. But like now I've done it like how many times? 8 times here, and it was just like it was really, really quick.
Yeah. How many stitches is that blanket roughly? Now
I'm at 864. It's gonna end up in like 1,296, I think.
So for all of you who are enjoying the deep stitch, there is more to come.
Well, the dip stitch section is 700 and something stitches.
See, because Slip Stravaganza is my ultimate favorite shawl that I've made, and I love the blanket version. And I'm just like, I don't know if I can bring myself to do it, even though it looks gorgeous and it's my favorite shawl, and I'd love to have the blanket with it. I don't know if I could commit to that blanket project. I think it'd take me years.
Well, when Stephen wrote this pattern, I was like, I want to knit it. I love making big blankets. I really, really enjoy making huge projects. So I just told him to ship me a lot of wool, and I was going to make it for him.
And what have you, where are you with your MCAL then?
The second one, I just finished clue 2, and then I put it aside to work on this one.
Okay.
Because this one is like a deadline project. I need to finish it by like the end of the year or something.
Right.
Someone asked in the comments as well just now, actually, well, do you know about the Hyber Knit Along, the launch date? Did Stephen say a couple of weeks, I think?
I can't say the date.
No, but it's a couple of weeks time, then people will hear more information. Was that what he said? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think he said like, about 2 weeks or something. I think they're going to start like teasing soon.
Okay.
And then like the actual knitting starts in December.
Right. And I still can't decide on my shawl if I should do the fringe or not. So this is like has been in hibernation for now, and I'm thinking on that. So I might come back to that and do fringe, because I do have yarn to do that. I just don't know if that's what I feel like doing at the moment. But cutting all those. I
love a fringe because I like I'm going to wear it, and I know I'm going to start twiddling it. So that's why I'm looking forward to doing that. Mark is not a fringe. So it takes me a job, in fairness, because I haven't got it's one less task to do on his.
Right. No, I'm totally fine with the look of fringe. I just don't know if I have it in me at the moment to actually cut all those straight. So I might come back to that later. I don't know.
I'm excited to get going on my second one. I think I said when I joined you very briefly, when Linda, you were on the humans, I feel like I've already got ideas. I love the fact that I'm doing 2, because I'm already, as I'm knitting marks, I'm already thinking about how I want to change change it up for mine, because at one point I was going to do them both exactly the same, and we are going to have his and his shawls. But now I feel like, no, I want to put mohair in the outer. Once I'm going to do the crochet version center, then in the knitted bits, I'm going to put mohair in it. And yeah, can I put extra fringe bits around the coat? I've already worked out how I want to try and make it different. So I'm really looking forward to, as Stephen said, playing with it.
Yeah, I got my original shawl, the red one, back from Amsterdam like a week ago or something. And I'm still just like thinking about how, what I'm going to do with the center. Because my wife kind of claimed it because she loves the colors and she wears a lot of like bright and crazy colors.
Yeah.
So I think she said she wanted the crochet one. I think she just wants to match Stephen. So
well, I promised the humans of West Needs that we're gonna have one more Zoom, probably a month from now, just to see everyone's finished shawls, so the progress on the shawls, and sort of to keep Martin accountable for his progress.
You're gonna need to.
So I want to invite you guys also to join. We'll figure out the date that works for all of us, and we can get together and see everyone's finished projects or the progress, and just chat again. It's been like such a lovely community that we built, and I really enjoyed getting to know all the
it's been really nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's the best part of the year.
It definitely is. Like the meeting people and doing it together was absolutely the best part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's, what I love about this. I've met so many wonderful people through knitting. Yeah, it's really, really nice.
I'm gonna put the announcement of the date. So I have a Ravelry group called Fiber Chats, and I put all the announcements there. So if you guys on Ravelry just join the Fiber Chats group and watch the announcements, but it's gonna be probably like end of November, beginning of December. We'll pick a date and I'll put the announcement there. And on Martin's and mine Instagram, we're always active there. So just keep an eye on us and we'll be back.
My plan is to try and finish Clue 3. Or I'm starting it tonight. I'm going to try and finish it now as much as I can over the weekend. On to 4 after I've done my section. I need a little bit of a break, but get it done in November before Advent. So because we're traveling to France in December and I want to take mine with me. I've got this vision of me going through the French countryside on a high-speed train, knitting on my version because Mark's wearing his. It's all very romantic in my head. It won't happen. We know that Mark will get it in January. But I've got the dream. I've got the vision. What do they say? Visualize it and it'll happen.
Yeah. What about visiting Iceland? Is that still on your plan?
It's on my plans. Yes. I've got him. I've got a list of places like, Mark, I want to go here. I want to go here. I want to go here. So he's got it on the list. So yes, Iceland would be amazing to come. And then you be sure I'll be coming to look up and go, can I come? What have I done? Fix my brioche. But yeah,
sure. If you buy me coffee, I'll do anything.
There we go. Deal. I love that idea. Yeah, holiday plans for next year.
Perfect.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Are there any more?
Yeah, you have to run, and you have all your people there.
Yeah, I have my knit group at my office. They're waiting for me.
That is so cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
No, you're very welcome. Speak to you soon.
Until next time.
Until next time. Bye. Oh, and then it was just us as we started.
Well, it was an eventful MCAL, but I'm glad we did it together, and I'm so glad that you guys joined us. It was really amazing to get to know everyone. I enjoyed that Zoom format. It was fun to hear you talk and see your progress. It was really lovely.
And like we said before we spoke at the beginning, it was like, how do we do something different to last year to change it up? And like you were quite honest about last year was brilliant, but lots of work in the editing. And then stumbling upon that, the humans on Zoom was just, it was so much fun to have everybody. And I know I didn't get to make all of them. We blame work. But it's been great to watch them back and hear what people are talking about and their thoughts and views and how they've customized it and people helping each other out. And as you said, when Steve was here, it's that community feel. It's being able to link up with other knitters and, you know, work on a shared project.
Yeah.
So next year.
Till next year.
It won't be till next year. We'll be back, like you said. We'll definitely end of the month. We'll get back together, and then hopefully I finished. You'll have done your tassels,
or not,
or not.
But by then it's gonna be a definite made choice, you know, one way or another. So
yeah, absolutely. And then you know, because like I say, I make my videos as long as people watch them, and if there's enough appetite from folks, which it seems to be. You know, we'll check in with you all next year, and as long as there's appetite for that, MCAL collab again will be here if you're here. So yeah, you know, for me, to Irina, thank you for being here and hosting the humans and being in my phone going, what do we do with this? Where do we do with this? And you know, you're being my little counselor and confidant. And yeah, it's been a fun old month, and we've got a beautiful shawl. Nearly me, you have out of it. Catherine Legrand is saying you need to. Catherine Legrand said you need to do fringe.
Yeah. Okay.
Catherine, I've told her I can't do anything else.
Right.
If she decides not to do fringe, I don't think we're not going to win.
And I know that Catherine is at work right now, but thank you for joining.
Yeah.
And thank you to all of you guys for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's coming up on your channel next?
Oh, I don't even know. I think I'm like Steven taking a little break from all the intense Zoom meetings and everything. And I'm always open to suggestions. So if you know some fabulous fiber artists out there, send me their information. I'm always easy to find either on Instagram, or you can just email me at fiberchats@gmail.com. And I'm going to keep you posted about the next Zoom meeting a month from now.
Yeah. Absolutely. I have a video that is only about 6 minutes long that I started last weekend that I'm going to try and add to this weekend, and I'll put that video up. And then because we still haven't done the Christmas cakes. I've got all the bits. They're here. I haven't made them. People keep messaging me on Instagram going, "Are we doing the Christmas cake long?" Yeah, it'll be fine, right? As long we've got
it'll get done.
It'll get done. Yeah, we've still got like 6 weeks till Christmas.
Oh, I forgot. There is one exciting thing. So Rowan, because I did the Rowan series on my channel, it was the whole entire September was Rowan series. So Rowan invited me to be interviewed on Rowan Connect. And that's going to take place during their Rowan Connect weekend. And it's November 17, 18, 19. I'm going to be there on November 18. It's 2:30 to 3:30 your time.
Okay.
GMT, right?
Tables have turned.
Right. So they're going to be asking me some tough questions. So if you guys want to come show some support during that weekend, there's going to be tons of master classes and lectures and demonstrations and some events like my interview there. So join and show some support for me, because
amazing. Yes, we will be there. We'll be there. But thank you. Right, go and have your rest. I'm going to go. The dog's here. We've got to go walk the dog and then have some tea. And then
wait. Last question. How much? How is that weight loss program going?
This is the other reason, right? Because I've got to exercise. I haven't got to exercise. I want to exercise. By the time I come home, I finish work. I then exercise. And then I sit down to knit. So it's eaten into my knitting time. But I wanted to do it. So I've lost 11 kilos, I think. And I'm not anything crazy. I've tried to make life choices, eating well, exercising, drinking plenty of water. I'm not doing anything crazy so that it's not one of those kind of yo-yo diets. But the doctor and I had a tough conversation, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I will try and be better. And it's worked. So yes, that's the other thing that's taken a bit of my time. It's trying to almost like put me first, do my exercise, I'm on a bit of a journey. But yes, it's very nice. People are commenting and saying, "Oh, you can see that you've lost." And I'm glad I did my before photo, because I can then look at it and go, well, I had a really bad day yesterday. I was like, so much going on, and I was like, I couldn't join you. I was late home from work, and I had a bit of a down day. And I looked at the before photo. I was like, that's why you've done it. So no, thank you for asking.
Very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
Till next time. Lovely to see you as always.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. And thank you, Irina. I will see you all soon.
Bye.